The presence of Incas in Argentina is a little-known fact, but in 1474 the great Inca conqueror Topi Inca Yupanqui turned southward, conquering all of highland Bolivia, northern Chile, and most of northwestern Argentina. Traces of the Incan presence can still be found to this day. This is Tilcara, in the Quebrada de Humahuaca, in the province of Jujuy. It's a pucara, or an Incan stronghold, a fortress built in the highest point of the valley. And it's been beautifully restored, but you can still wander through sections in their original state as they were discovered by archaeologists in 1908. The lost empires of the Inca never seem to lose their appeal for travelers interested in history and archaeology. Inca strongholds and walled towns, temples and art have mostly succumbed to the ravages of time. But a determined traveler can find fascinating traces of an empire that flourished for hundreds of years until it fell to the Spanish invaders in the 16th century. One reminder is this pucara, an Inca fortress. Today it's undergoing careful restoration, but there is still a section where you can wander, finding pieces of pottery and bone just as it was discovered by archaeologists in 1908. In 1474, the Inca leader Topa Inca Tipañu led his armies south, conquering all of highland Bolivia, northern Chile and most of northwestern Argentina. Perhaps the greatest warrior ever to emerge from Native Americans, he also demonstrated a remarkable talent for empire building. Other conquerors were content to loot, kill and withdraw. The Inca, however, absorbed their conquests into their growing empire, introduced their architecture and artistic values, intermarried with the families of Indian chiefs, and sent the sons to be educated in cities such as Cusco and Machu Picchu. In return, their new subjects paid taxes and supplied a labor force, and most important, their loyalty and numbers enhanced the power of the Incas. Artifacts of the early Indian people can be seen at a small museum in the old Posta de Hornillos. But here in Tilcara, you'll find strong Inca influences in the stone structures located on a hilltop for defense purposes and centered around a building that is thought to be a temple. Most towns were walled, and some had populations as high as 3,000 people. There were over 300,000 Indians living in what is now Argentina when the Spaniards arrived at the beginning of the 16th century. The conquest resulted in the destruction of the Inca Empire and eventually wiped out most of the indigenous cultures of northwestern Argentina. If you visit Tilcara, you can stay in the town of Humahuaca, where the statue of St. Francis and the unique crafts market attract townsfolk from the remote areas of the Andes. Listen carefully, and along with Spanish, you'll hear traces of Quechua, a common language developed by the Incas to help administer their empire, a living link with the past. For more information, visit our website on topoftheworld.net.